morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. We've got a treat today. Okay, this one's called an herb seafood lasagna with a tomato cream sauce. Now we've got three things we're going to have to do, so we've got 3 steps. We're going to have to make a tomato sauce, we got to make a filling, and then we're going to have to make a bechamel sauce. I can't pronounce that word, it's French, so hang it up. Anyway, it's going to be the topping. All right. And so we're going to get started first with the tomato sauce. You need 2 tablespoons of butter put into a pan. They say a large skillet because we're going to pack it. We need 2 garlics minced, and that's what I'm getting ready to do now. I just peeled them. See, they're not going to say finely chopped in cookbooks. They always use the term minced, so be aware of that terminology. Mince means very finely done. Okay, I read this last week to you about this dish, so I know it sounds really good. Okay, you're going to turn your heat on under the butter to melt it, and then we're going to saute this garlic. Let me put that to the side. I've got some chopping I have to do here. Now they want also, I'm going to be flipping back and forth on this. They need 6 fresh plum tomatoes, seeded and chopped. This time of the year, these tomatoes are so large. I love these. The best way to do tomatoes is you have end to end cut right down in the middle, and you can seed them very, very quickly. Come on, once you do that, you're going to pop all over my book, and that way you're really frustrated with it. Let me move my book over here. I am getting so tired of seeing water in my butter. It drives me crazy. feeding them over my bowl here. I take everything up to the yard. Except in the cold weather, when it's below freezing, you cannot break ground. Well, I guess a machine could, yeah. You got a really strong husband or son, he could probably crack the ground for you very easily. Now, I don't have the size pan they want, so I'm going to use a 9x13, but a heavy-duty one that I have, stone. And I want you to chop these tomatoes up. They're not asking you to take the skin off, they're just asking you to chop them up. If you don't like the core, you can cut it off, just get rid of it. This is one reason I don't like these lightweight boards. Because they spin all over. I like those heavier boards. But I can't afford them because those things are expensive, and I've broken all of mine. They've just worn out except that last one. I have a really big one, but it doesn't fit here. So there's not much I can do about that. See, I didn't need that many tomatoes this week, and the tomatoes were back on sale. And I need the tomatoes. A lot of them, they're never on sale. I seem to miss the sales on that. Well, I am going to continue chopping this, and we've got to get it in to the garlic. I have my own simmer because I'm not got done yet. Okay, add your tomatoes. And you're going to saute them till they give up their juices. So I've got a few more pieces to do, and I'll get them in. Well, we're above the freezing mark now during the day. So it's pleasant outside again. Crisp still, but not freezing like it was. And the snow is starting to melt. And I just sit there and say 5 more weeks before spring. We have to get through February. And we're just days away of hitting February, and spring will be back in the air, which will be pleasant. Did anybody ever notice that the birds do not tweet in the winter? Their songs and stuff wake the trees up. And I watched it because somebody said, I said, no, I gotta check this out. And sure enough, the birds are not quiet. They came to my back door the other day because I didn't have any food. It was on order. And they came right up within inches of the back door. And they wouldn't say one word. But in the spring, they'd be at the back door chirping and letting me know, hurry up and get the food out. We're here early. And so I consider that very interesting. And the sounds of the birds actually cause the trees to wake up. Now they said it's going to take 7 to 10 minutes for them to release their juices. While they're doing that, we're going to be doing some other things, like chopping. Alright, I know they want scallions, so let's see how many of those we have to chop. They want 1/4 of a cup, thinly sliced scallions. In the South, some people who don't know the proper name call these green onions, but their real proper name is scallion. So if you hear me say it, at least you know what I'm looking for. That might give me a clue. Scallions always come up. I have some planted in the backyard. They come up every spring. But I love those blue flowers they have on them, so I don't use all the scallions just so I can see the blue. They want these thinly sliced. And I'm talking about 1/4 of a cup. Yeah, I'm sure I've got more here than 1/4 of a cup. But I'll just chop it in. Spoons for the mix. Let's see what else goes with the scallions. Okay, we're almost done with this sauce, but we gotta leave the tomatoes for about 10 minutes to bring their juices out, and it will begin to reduce. Okay, I'm gonna put everything in one little bowl so I can get ready to move to the next step. To the sugar. Okay. We need 1/2 cup of white wine. Don't worry, this isn't an expensive one. need 1/4 of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Yeah, it's going to have a kick to it. Put this with your onions. You need a teaspoon of dried basil. And you need 3/4 of a teaspoon of tarragon. Three-fourths of a teaspoon. I don't know if I have that much. I put it on my shopping list. Yeah, go ahead. That's it. Put this up here so I remember it. You want salt and pepper in this now? Oh yeah, I have the salt and pepper. Okay. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Fourth of a teaspoon of black pepper. Well, this finishes this one up. I need now 1 teaspoon of sugar. I never add sugar to my sauce. I usually use carrots. That's what they used to use a long time ago, was carrots was the sweetener to the tomato sauce, not sugar. Okay, we have everything ready. I'm just waiting for the sauce. So I'll bring you over here while we're working with this sauce. So it's going to reduce as it does it because you have it up on the flame. But we're cooking the juice out of them and reducing it just a little too. A little reduce at the same time. You know what's funny? This is really an issue with women. We are told all our lives by our mothers, and our fathers and everything. Now, men, they're told by their parents, but they grow up to a point where they they go to work and they have superiors, so they learn that they have to answer to them like their parents. They have to do the job of their superior says it and everything else. So they can always learn. But little girls, and I can say that this is true, 100% is that we listen to our mothers, and when we get to an age, we start feeling, you know, we're young women, and we sit there, and we go into the kitchen. We don't want anybody. This is the center of the home. This is the heart of the home, literally the kitchen. If the kitchen, you don't have a good kitchen functioning, there's always repercussions throughout the rest of the house. But when you get in the kitchen, you start cooking, you don't want anybody to tell you anything. You learned how to put your makeup on, that's it, and nobody's going to tell you zip. You know how you want your hair and all. Women get very defiant, I have to say it. They'll answer to their husbands, and if the husbands goes to teach them something in the kitchen that his mother did, he can do that. But an older woman trying to tell a younger woman, she said, look, this is my home, and she's laying out the ground rules real quick and fast. She doesn't want anybody to tell her anything because she knows, and she's doing the best she can. And I know that when I talk about things or informing people of things, they don't want to be told. They want to assume certain things, the women. The men are more being amenable because they'll take a look and analyze. But women, So I know some of the women listen to me. Probably took a great affront when I sat there and talked about your bones. If I sit there and mention things about nutrition and all, because you'll look at your family and say, my family's healthy. But you're not alive when they hit those older ages and how sick they get. And that is your legacy that you give them. And it's really funny because I have seen more women be defiant. I will not go into another woman's kitchen to cook. I know better. I will assist them in what they're doing, and if they ask my opinion, I will give it. But I know better than to walk in. That's like somebody walking in my kitchen and telling me what to do, and I'm going to turn and say, excuse me? And when I say excuse me, we're getting battlegrounds. Okay, that's when I sit there and let you know. You're crossing the line with me. Unless you know more than me, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. So I know that the women, when I talk and tell you things and explain things to you, you really don't want to hear it because you want to think that you did a really good job. We all do. I've made mistakes. I trusted the wrong person. I thought I was talking to a nutritionist. I was talking to a dietitian. She knew zip, and she was causing problems. So I understand when you listen to me and you might cut the video off and say, I don't want to hear this. I understand you more than you realize. Been there. But I listened. I swallowed my pride and I listened to the older women. And I learned. I learned a lot of things. And I learned it would be easier for me to listen to a man in the kitchen that would have been a woman. But I had learned being arrogant in the kitchen and you not knowing, but you don't want them to know you don't know, does not help you help your family. Because I've been in some of my neighbors' kitchens and my friends' kitchens, and I'll do what they say, unless they say otherwise. So I won't do it. All right, you're going to add the herbs and the scallions now. And you're going to add the wine. So I know that I do offend sometimes when I talk, but mine is not to offend, but to bring knowledge to you. Please understand that. See, my husband was going to teach me how to make coconut bread. And I watched him and I said, I have a question. He said, don't. I'm making it just like Mommy. I said, okay. So I watched him. I took notes. And when he got done baking it, he said it didn't rise. I said, I know. There's only a few leavenings. Baking powder, baking soda, yeast, or air. You did none of that. That's why it didn't rise. And he said, well, which one should I put? I said, do not use baking soda because it is too much salt for the recipe. Yeast, this is not a yeast bread, so that's knocked out. There's no eggs to whip up the whites, so there's none there. The only thing left is baking powder, and we'll use baking powder in it. And sure enough, it came out very, very nice. But I had to learn to listen, so I understand if you're a young woman in the kitchen and you have young children, you want to do it your way. That's fine. All what I'm doing is bringing nutritional information to help you to adjust your recipes if you wish or not to. Okay, now what do they want me to do with this? Okay. All right, we're just going to simmer it for 2 minutes. And we're going to turn this off and move to the next stage. All what you're doing when you simmer it is you're bringing all those flavors together, okay? Next will be the filling that we're going to have to do. Let me see what they want me to put that in. Another large skillet. Okay, let me get another one. You're going to need another skillet. Mine aren't quite skillets. Most of the time, well, this is a skillet. Most people, when you hear the word skillet, you go to a frying pan, but they're different. This is not a saucepan. See how it's built? A little different. Oh God, this smells good. Okay, put a lid on this. As they say, move it to the side. I have to move it over there. That tarragon with basil has a very unique smell. It smells very, very nice. Now I'm going to be going back and forth. Get this over here. Well, let me see what we need for this part, and then I'll get that out, and then we'll move forward. So give me a minute. Okay, what we need is 1 pound of bay or sea scallops. If you're using sea scallops, you have to cut them in half. Okay, so we need 1 pound. I've got my scale out in front of you. Oh, how am I going to do this? How do you want me? Okay. This is not a pound scallop. I know that. Okay, I need to get this liquid off of them because I've got to weigh these out. Eight, 9, 10. Yeah, the liquid gave me more weight than I needed. Oh, shoot. This one might not want to open. Just hold on. Come on. This sucks. Okay, we're gonna have to cut this and pull them out. This sucks. Okay, let's pour the liquid off and we'll have the real weight. Okay, that's 1 pound, and this has to go in a Ziploc. I'm going to be putting this stuff back in the freezer as I do this, so just give me a minute. Yes, I'm going to put them in Ziploc bags and throw it back in the freezer. Okay, we need a half a pound of shelled and deveined medium shrimp cut in half. I know these are going to be. Okay, we got those. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull their tails off and scale these. Okay. So we'll go maybe 2 over to cover for the shells. That will cover for the shells, but the rest of it in that freezer. Okay, these have to be cleaned. All right. The flounder, I told him what I needed. I pray he gave me exactly what I needed. Now you need 3/4 of a pound of sole or flounder fillets cut in 1/2 inch chunks. I know it's getting crowded up here again. I'm just reading these off as I scale these things, okay? Yeah, 1 1/2 inch chunks. Well, my chunks might be smaller or lower. Oh, good, he got it right exactly where I needed it to be. I'm just going to cut them like this, then cut them 1 1/2 intervals. Okay. Can I? Yeah, well, the city's going to take it, so I don't care about that. About 1 1/2 pieces. I am not being exact. Don't get on my face. Put those with the scallops. Get rid of this cutting board. Where, Sandra? I have no idea. You know, I have to put you on pause because I'm really running out of room. Okay, here's the shrimp. I got a 1/2 pound, and now they want you to cut them in half. Now I just took a whole bunch of that off. So cut them in half and put them with the scallops and the flounder. Make sure you clean the intestines out of its back. The one underneath is just their vein. Because see, they eat and their intestines go this way and then they go underneath the tail and come out there. But the line that you see under here is actually their blood vessel. Like we'd have our arteries, they have theirs. fish together. And let me get this board cleaned and we'll start cooking. Okay, you're gonna melt. Mine's melting because it's really hot. You're gonna melt the butter. I have to get it warm. Now you need medium heat, and we're gonna put the shrimps and the scallops into it, and we're gonna cook it. So it needs a medium-high heat because we're only gonna cook them for a minute before we get the rest of the stuff together. So be prepared. I didn't know the flounder had to be separated, but it's in big pieces. You can find it. I can't even bring my cookbook over there. I'm going to be walking back and forth. Now to the flounder, you can go ahead and put a half a teaspoon of salt on them because we'll dump them all in at the same time while that butter gets hot. Sorry, I have to read it this way. Add your pepper, which is a half a teaspoon as well, or to taste. So to get rid of them out of the way, so I can do this. You're also going to be adding a teaspoon of thyme and a teaspoon of tarragon. I hope you can hear me. Add your shrimp and your scallop over the medium-high heat. We're going to cook them just until done, or better yet, until pink. Oh, now I have room. All right, into the flounder. I'll read it one more time in case you did not hear me. It's a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper, and it's a teaspoon of tarragon and a teaspoon of thyme. You also will need on the side a half a cup of wine. And you're just going to wait until these shrimps turn pink where they're cooked. I'll turn mine way up. It should take about a minute or a little over a minute to get the shrimps where they have to be cooked, and the scallops. So as you can see, the scallops have a lot of fluid in them, but they're moving right along. The shrimp is almost done. We're just waiting for it to finish up a few pieces. See, if you cook the shrimps too long, they get tough, and that's not what you want, okay? That's what we're striving for. I'll bring you closer. I have to put things behind you again. the wine. For a few minutes. Okay, we're going to bring it to a boil and cook it for 1 minute. We're boiling it just for 1 minute. We're going to be cooking the wine and fish flavor together very, very nicely. You're going to use a slotted spoon. When they say a slotted spoon, they mean a spoon that has holes in it to drain the liquid off of them. We're going to have to do something. Okay, you're going to add all of this in, the seasonings and the flounder. We're only going to cook this for a few minutes. And when I mean a few, I mean very few minutes. Because we don't want the flounder to fall apart. We want the pieces, but you want to cook it just to a point. So be careful how you cook it and handle it so it doesn't fall apart. And this is step 2. Then we'll put this on the side. See how the flounder's cooking? That's why it's only going to be in like 2 minutes. 3, maybe. So you can see things are coming along pretty good. Now you're going to strain it. My flounder's cooking quickly, so I'm going to have to get it out. I'm going to take all the fish out. All right. Turn it off. Take the fish, put it to the side like we put the sauce. We're gonna put the sauce over here. Okay, let me get the stuff for stage 3. Okay, what you're gonna do is put the sauce, the drippings from the fish, in a bowl. We're gonna be using it. You need 4 tablespoons melted in the pan. I know, I haven't even gotten to the lasagna yet. I'm actually taking care of all of this first. Then we'll get to the lasagna. We're gonna melt this and we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of flour. And then 2.5 cups of cream. Okay. So you can see this is really going to be nice. It just takes a little bit of time, but if you have time and you want to do something nice for your family, this would be excellent. If you're going to have wine, a dry white wine or a rosé would be the proper wine to have with this. I'm going to serve it with a salad. As for a dessert, I would definitely think of a cheesecake with some sort of fruit, be it a blackberry, a raspberry, or something like that. It would go very nice to finish this up. Now we need 4 tablespoons of flour. We're making a roux right now. You know what? I'm always much better with a whisk. Now you know when it's ready to pour a liquid in because it'll have like a slight toasty smell to it. This is why you need your taste and your smells. If I can't taste and I can't smell, my meals are horrible. See, right now it just smells of butter and raw flour. But a couple of minutes and it'll get really nice and you'll smell that toast coming right up your nose, like a buttered piece of toast. Why do I keep whisking? Make sure it doesn't lump and it doesn't burn. Because I didn't get a new pot out. Remember, I used the same pot of fish with them. Now you need 2.5 cups of cream added to this. Have to get more cream. Have it behind you. There's 2 cups. And another 1/2 cup. is to bring this to a boil, whisking for 2 minutes. You have to be really, really careful with this. Other than that, it will burn. Then we'll add it into it. You're seeing the particles from my cooking of the fish. See, it's already boiling and they want 2 minutes. That's why this is where you really have to whisk to make sure it just does not burn. And you'll see that the flour is thickening. The heavy cream. It gets thick in a hurry. All those seasonings and the juice from the fish are pouring in. Turn this down now. You have to see how much salt and pepper they want. They want 1 teaspoon of salt. There's my salt. And a half a teaspoon of white pepper, they state. And a little bit of, they say a pinch of nutmeg, grated fresh, please. I think that's it. I don't know why they don't sell white peppercorns. I wonder how the red ones, the pink and the green are going to come in. That's it. We've got the sauce ready. We're just going to heat this all up so it all mingles together. And then that's it. And it really smells nice. I'm not gonna lie to you, it really does. This whole dish seems to be one heck of an amazing dish. Let's get the nutmeg in here. What a lovely combination of seasonings. All right, we're done with this stage. We turn it off, put it to the side. Okay, watch me clean up a little, and then we'll get to the next stage. You're going to need a large pot. Now, they give us a variety of what kind of lasagna we were using. I'm using dried, but I'll read the other ones because if you get it fresh, in the, what, is it in the dairy or the freezer department? I don't know. Okay. Very fresh pasta sheets do not need to be cooked before lasagna is assembled. Cooked dried pasta or fresh pasta that has begun to dry out in a large pot of boiling salted water until still slightly firm, 2 to 3 minutes for fresh, 8 minutes for dried. All right, so I am going to do that. And another thing they're going to tell you is you're going to have to dry the, after it's done cooking, you lay it out on paper or linen towels to absorb the extra fluid because fish is loaded with fluid. All right, so let me get my pot and cook your pasta. If it's fresh, they told you, and starting to dry out a bit, 2 to 5 minutes if it's fresh, and 8 minutes for dry. And I'll be back when the pasta is done. Now, you know that I like to make all my meals nutritious. Did you notice this one was extremely difficult? I couldn't add things to it because it was done with heavy cream and wine, and so I was sort of limited on what I could do. But when I'm going to cook this lasagna, I put in bone broth, some fish stock, and some vegetable stock into the water, diluted it with water because it's very, very strong. I make mine very concentrated. So I will be getting the nutritional value through my lasagna instead of having plain lasagna. So I'll have all these flavors and the rich flavor with the pasta as well. So the dish will be much more flavorful at that time. So I'm still waiting for my water to come to a boil. And I'm not boiling them in salt because I'm careful with salt. I like using kelp, my mixture of salt and kelp. But when I do my pasta, because the excess water goes out into the yard, into the garden, and into the plants, if I put salt in it, I can't give it to them. So that's why when it comes to cooking pastas, I don't do it there. Now, we just have to wait for the pasta. Don't forget what I told you, how long to cook it. Okay, set your temperature at 375. Now, I have mine on the towels and drying them off like they want, so there's not too much water. You have to grease she wants a 14 by 10 inch lasagna pan. I do not have that, so what I'm going to use is a 9 by 13, is as close as I can come. It's the biggest one I have for this dish. Okay. In your baking dish, add half of the tomato sauce. She says spread it out. I can't come over there, I got the pasta right now, so I'm spreading out my tomato sauce. I'm drying my hands with this. And the next layer she wants you to put on, after you do the tomato sauce, make a layer using 1/3 of the pasta sheets. Okay, so make a layer over the tomato sauce we just did. There's 18 for a pound of lasagna. counted. Well, I'm not gonna get that many. Well, she can get over that. See, I have them all laid out. All right, the next thing she wants you to do is then add half the seafood mixture. So get your seafood mixture and add half of it. Okay, let's see what she wants next. Then 1/3 of the bechamel, 1/3 of the sauce. This sauce I'll give you. This is the one that she wants us to use 1/3 of. Bring the paper over here. I can't do it anyway. It's not going to work. I don't even know how much sauce is there. I think about 2 cups. It tastes good. That's for dang sure. Okay, I'm getting ready to bring this over. This is going to be good. I'm going to tell you right now, this is really going to be good. It's got to be. It looks too good. All right, we're going back to the pasta again. I doubt if I'm going to use whole pan because, pasta. I'm just rereading the recipe over. Okay. Starting at the top again. Why does she want me to do this? You know what? She's not explaining this very well. Oh, God. I hate it when I don't get instructions correctly, especially when I'm making a new dish. So just add a little bit of tomato sauce. Let me fold this over. Then she changes it and says, "Oh, just add a half a cup." And I said, "What?" Sometimes I get so angry about not understanding. I know what they want me to do, but they're doing it differently. Okay. It's very important. This is why it's important. You better know when you read these instructions, you sit there and say, "Wait a minute, something's wrong." Now, how much do you want here? And half the seafood ratio, 1/3 of that. Okay. another third of this. Let's see. Instructions. What do you want me to do for the top? Okay. They want us. They're not saying add the tomato sauce this time. See that? That's pretty much how they want this. Then they want you to pour this all over this. Yes, I know you're ready for me, but I'm not ready for you yet. Oh, that is hot. So do spread this out. And then they want you to pour all of this over it. What's ever left. Okay. If you wish not to serve this right away, you can put foil over this and refrigerate it. You know, if you have guests coming and you want to serve it, but they're not, you're making it ahead of time. So you can do that with this dish. And we have to get Parmesan cheese. And we have to grater it, so I'm going to have to grater some cheese right now. Okay, these towels are going in the dirty clothes. probably use this whole piece of cheese for this. I have to admit, this is really unique. I'm just going to finish up the cheese. Well, I think Parmesan cheese better go on my shopping list now. Okay, we're going to put it in the oven without anything on it, all right? And they want it cooked just like this, though I think it should have a level on it, but they seem to know what they're doing, so we'll see. Pasta should be done. I hope it is. Now that is going to bake for about, since you're having it at 375, about 45 minutes. Now, if you have your lasagna in the refrigerator, what you have to do is you bake it only if you have it in the refrigerator because you made it early. You'll have to bake it with a foil covered for at least 20 minutes, then uncover and continue cooking for about 30 minutes, all right? So I'll see you in about, what, 40-50 minutes? I'll see you then. Okay, here it is, and it smells very good. It's still bubbling. Okay, now something you have to know about lasagna, you have to let it sit for about 10-15 minutes to give the juices time to settle, so when you cut it, it's not runny all over the place. It has, that cheese has time to cool some and set, as well as the pasta. That's a trick a lot of people don't know, but just give it time. So take care and enjoy your day.